now.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us or coming back. Part 4, episode 141, Salt of the Streets. My name is Donovan.
I am indeed Colin.
We are thrilled to have you here.
Thrilled.
Thank you again. Like, comment, subscribe, tell everyone about this. Share this with your friends so they know you can find everything. Salt of the Streets Patreon, Salt of the Streets Instagram, saltofthestreets.com, Salt of the Streets YouTube. Of course. And we also have our own personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. And Colin is at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. Our fourth and final segment is brought to you by Location Skate Shop in downtown Bremerton. There's a fantastic place for the community and for skateboarding. Go there if you need anything.
I should have brought up their website, and I did not.
Way to go.
Fucking producer extraordinaire over here.
Part 4 is the grab bag.
Indeed.
Colin is going to surprise me. We have some of the things that we are going to talk about, Daily Wire, Alec Baldwin, and stuff like that. But also we run through the Twitter, and Colin really just tries to scare the shit out of me, I think. So,
Especially the one with the whale today.
yeah, okay.
buddy.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and start here. You want to start with Crowder?
Yeah, we're going to start with Crowder. And this right here, Joseph, that's what he was talking about. That's what I think he was talking about. He left a message there. First of all, let's catch some of the chat from when we took a break. Lexi Kaya, or Kyle Lexi, I should add, on her YouTube there said, that sounds like a great book. Things my dog taught me. I love that. So there's your next fucking writing project.
How far it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how far it goes because this will be the inaugural essay about that. And if you have more material, then hey, just remember, your dog's got a lot of life left to live.
That's
so
right.
We'll see how that goes.
Should be
and then
7 this
Joseph
year.
says, I know there are other metrics, but live views should be harder to manipulate, you would think. With Crowder, live views were over 165K on Tim Pool, who has 20K to 55 or 50K daily. Check. And that's perfect.
Are you saying you think that the 166 manipulated?
No, he's saying it's hard. I think that's more believable. 166K viewers over there. Crowder keeps talking about 300,000 plus or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no shit on the live stream, on the actual live stream itself. When they were live, they had over 166,000 viewers at one point, which is massive for the standard IRL live stream. And so that shows that obviously there's going to be some crossover between the two audiences and some percentage at some point. But it's a good chunk of people still, right? It's over 100,000 people probably that came over there for just Crowder because ain't nobody seen him. But we will get into some of that numbers talk as we go on. They were there for Crowder. Yes.
Should we give a brief overview of the situation and then dive into the details?
Sure.
Or are you going to tell the story as it goes?
We will give a brief overview of everything that has happened, and I highly recommend if you want a deep dive into all the Daily Wire, Crowder. Some people call it drama. I think there's a legitimate conversation to be had there, particularly with contractual obligations with online creators and the new media space and so on and so forth. But I highly recommend everybody go watch my Beer Time show, Friday Night Beer Time from 2 weeks ago, entitled The Crowder Wars, in which I break down the entirety of the fiasco that's going on. Bill Volkswagen said the episode of Timcast has 1.2 million views on YouTube, which is fantastic because the last couple episodes, Crowder did not have anywhere close to those numbers.
Really?
Yeah. During the end of the year. So
we're going to go over all that.
We are going to go over all that.
So
I was going to say the long and short of the entire Crowder Daily Wire situation at this point involves Crowder Show ending his contractual obligations at The Blaze.
With The Blaze,
Louder with Crowder is essentially a separate production company that produces his show, and then he tries to sell the rights to do that show along with, say, his private membership, the Mud Club, to various networks for specific fees for specific lengths of time, and there's all sorts of different little contractual obligations that go along with that, right?
Yes.
Depending on which company you're signing with and so on and so forth. But it's very old school legacy media type of contractual relationships. I always relate it to somebody like Tucker Carlson, right? Tucker Carlson has a show.
Right.
Bill O'Reilly had a show that he shopped to Fox News. And then Fox News owned all that shit, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's contract's different. But at the end of the day, he has a show that he does that he sells to a network, and that's the same. It's very, very similar in Crowder's situation, except for the fact Crowder actually has the production company that he does at his own studio on location with his own crew.
What is it called? Do you know? His production company?
Ooh, I do not. It's probably Louder with Crowder, or it's called Mug Club, because he continues to say he owns Mug Club 100%. You know it, but it's Crowder. He's very difficult to read. It's very hard to understand exactly what he's talking about. So but the entity that is Louder with Crowder is solely owned by him, Steven Crowder, and that is his production company.
Yes.
And that production, he makes one show, and it makes Louder with Crowder, and then all the skits they do. So while they do the show. So anyways, his contract was ending with Blaze. He made this very, very apparent towards the end of the year last year. And at some point, he became what could be compared to as a free agent in the world of the entertainment space in the conservative realm, right?
Okay.
And at that point, he was entertaining offers from multiple companies. I think he said on Timcast he had like 5 other companies, multiple
yeah, I
companies.
remember that.
But the one that really stuck out to him was the non-binding term sheet he got from Daily Wire.
Yes. The first video he didn't say was from the Daily Wire. He said it
they
was from
ultimately
a
got
company.
outed. Yes, sorry.
They outed themselves.
Because he created a episode of his show. Well, not really an episode. He put out a video on YouTube that called out Big Con, as he calls it, Big Conservative Media.
StopBigCon.com.
It was, which we can get into, but it was essentially just a way to build an email list, in which he kind of went over the conditions of the term sheet. Like I said, I went over it in detail on that beer show, so I don't want to rehash everything. So go check that out for all the ins and outs. But ultimately, he put that video out. Daily Wire fired back the next day. Jeremy Boring cut a video that went over in verbatim the fucking terms.
Daily Wire clap back.
That's right. They clap back real, real hard. And then Crowder clapped back again, debuting a recording of a phone call that he and Jeremy Boring had. I should say he debuted a couple small snippets of a conversation that he recorded. Of a phone call with Jeremy Boring of Daily Wire.
Yes.
To obviously paint them in a negative light because he's doing what he's doing. So he's kind of going after them. And so at that point, Daily Wire kind of quit saying anything. Their talents, their on-air talents, Candace Owens happened to be scheduled to go on Timcast IRL at one point. So she got on there and she said her piece, calling Crowder a bitch and doing all this stuff. And
she did say a lot of things.
it was, Candace Owens she's going to Candace Owens. So she gets out there. I don't blame you. But, Matt Walsh got very vocal on Twitter. He was out on paternity leave at the time, so he wasn't making shows and stuff like that.
Baby.
So, yeah, he got the double baby thing going on right now.
That guy's got like 5 kids now. Fuck that.
What is a woman? I think Shapiro's, I think he's looking at the 4th coming in.
4, yeah.
But,
I'm gonna
Matt Walsh got
kids.
lucky and got the twinsies coming on. So he's like, I'm one up, bitch.
I'm going to end up with 4 kids.
Brett Cooper, at one point, she felt as if probably Candace Owens invoked her by saying, Steven was calling out the younger talent being taken advantage of by the other wire. So she invoked Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper did a thing on Instagram because she's a fucking Gen Zer and she don't make YouTube videos. She makes Instagram videos.
Right.
But we both watched that, right? And again, I cover all this stuff on the Beer Time show. So forgive me if I'm running by this or repeating things. So anyways, they all clap back. And then it kind of dies down for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Pool makes it very known during the Candace Owens show that Crowder would be coming on the following week, and then he can speak for himself. So this past Monday, what was that? The 23rd? 23rd. Crowder goes on IRL. In person, he was there with Gerald, who is definitely not gay, even though that joke died with Jared because not gay Jared is not around anymore and can't talk about it. But that is now the joke. If you did not realize, if you're a Crowder fan, they had to continue that same joke after Not Gay Jared left, and it has now slowly become Gerald being not gay. Although the joke now is that Gerald is gay. So anyways, he came on there with Gerald, and then Crowder spoke his piece. And so we're going to talk now about some of the piece that Crowder spoke, which leads us to our
He said
entry.
a lot of things.
He said a lot of things. We both watched it. I watched it 3 times, including
Oh my God.
once this morning. So there's that, which leads us to our gateway to this conversation about Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire. This is particularly about Steven Crowder, but we're going to enter through the gateway of.
No! God! No! God, please, no! No!
Boom! I love that. I love that.
That's awesome.
So this tweet comes courtesy of the great and powerful Jack Posobiec, who I think is a grifter in his own right, and respect to the grift. But he says here on this little clip, deception tells like crazy in this clip. Body language is off the charts. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. Tell me you don't watch Crowder without telling me you don't watch Crowder.
Okay.
And then watch this clip.
Before we get to that, before we get to like the finances, and
Let's
stuff,
go through the
'cause I
timeline.
want to. Let me ask you this: if someone publicly was going, and by the way, I'm not going to be doing the personal stuff. I'm not going to be coming in here calling anybody a bitch, right? Sending out hatchet people. I understand why Candace was mad. Honestly, I understand why she was. I'd probably be mad too. So I don't think it gives you an excuse to go and talk the way like every girl does who gets their husband into a fight at a bar.
Remember
but I
body
understand why she was upset. If you had the ability, if someone's going out saying, "Hey, you're a difficult person who only cares about the money, and that you're a bitch," and you had the opportunity to clear it in because it was verifiably untrue, which now no one is arguing, would you do it? How else would people switch from it was about a $50 million salary to recording a phone call? Do we allow it when James O'Keefe does it? Is it only when corruption is on the side of the left? And here's the issue: I'll tell you who this hurts.
Cut
the
this up,
dishonesty.
man.
I'm not
He
just
loves to hear
saying
himself talk.
Daily Wire. This is about the entire movement as a whole. There are a lot of practices that go on, and it hurts the sponsors, hurts the creators, hurts the viewers, hurts the investors. And by investors with us, it's entirely Mug Club. It's people who pay to subscribe. We don't make a dime off of YouTube. We haven't for many years. And it hurts if you believe what we say we believe, the movement in the country as a whole. So that right there,
here
is
he is
fundamentally
making his
and the
case, right?
gaslighting still keeps taking place. Candace Owens on this show said, hey, we all follow the same guidelines, right? We all follow the Crowder does too. That's verifiably false. Now, so you
Wrong.
can publicly audit this.
Yeah.
We've had
Yeah, no. And then he talks about how many times he's been banned off or gotten struck from YouTube, got banned off YouTube for breaking YouTube policy.
Yeah,
but
so
obviously
what's-
his show's going on here. So Jack Posobiec's idea here is that you could tell from Crowder's body language that he's lying. Tell me you don't watch Crowder without telling me you don't watch Crowder. He is always very animated and he does these weird twitchy movements and he looks at the
Yes.
camera and he does all this weird shit. That is a super bad take from somebody who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Right.
That's
Say
how
nothing seems
Crowder
abnormal.
is, man.
I watched the whole deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it all seemed very normal as far as Crowder goes.
Yes. So that's how we're going to enter this super bad take on Twitter. Like,
All right,
Jack
yeah,
Posobiec, that's
weird.
not right. But also, he kind of lays out this whole situation at this point. His kind of take on this thing. It's not about the fucking money. It's about these other people and people being taken advantage of and so on and so forth. And he's going to have Hatchet Man coming after him and all that stuff, which I think is... It's kind of here nor there in the greater context of what it is that he's actually supposed to be talking about, but he kind of has to try to defend himself from Candace Owens, and
Yeah.
you can generally understand that, I guess, for somebody that's involved in this type of situation. But I'm going to switch back here real quick while I adjust timestamp on this one. So now, part of Crowder's case when he was on top of there, because before we actually dive into all these things, you watched the entirety of that IRL, right?
Yes.
What's your generalized take of Crowder's his problem that he is trying to define in that episode? His side of the story, if you will, and then what's
Yeah.
your take on the general issue as we've gone along here?
So his take seems to be that he's standing up for the little guy, right? And based off of this non-binding term sheet that he received from the Daily Wire that he was displeased with. And his concern based off of that, he extrapolated that if this is how bad my deal is, then Jeremy Boring says everybody who gets this deal is beholden to the same thing, which he found out is not true.
And I should say the terms of the non-binding term sheet that he is saying that he is upset about does not have to do with the money. He's very
to do with
interested
the
in that, right?
penalties, right.
It has to do with the penalties incurred from being like for terms of service violations
Yeah.
on big tech platforms like YouTube.
Yeah, and so his concern is that if there are small creators that are presented with these same agreements, they need the money so bad they won't be able to deny, or they won't be able to hire an attorney to try and negotiate this contract, so they'll have no choice but to accept it.
Yeah, or they're just so new to the space, they just don't understand.
And because these enforcements are based off of the inherently unconservative guidelines of these big tech companies, Crowder feels as though Daily Wire and other large conservative media organizations are actually playing into the hand of big tech, and in turn are damaging the conservative movement.
Because they're playing by the rules of big tech, as he would say.
I understand what he's saying. I understand. And I don't disagree with him to the point of...
Wage slaves is what he said. He did say wage slaves at one point.
To the point that it doesn't need to play out like this. Like, you don't have to have this business model. But I don't agree that the Daily Wire is hurting conservatism. I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that their business model is inherently wrong. I don't think that it's better or worse than... I don't think that it's worse than Steven Crowder's.
Okay.
But I also... The one that he proposes, because right now he doesn't have a business model.
Exactly.
But I also don't think that that business model would lead the Daily Wire
Go Zoom tight.
to one day become a slave to big tech because they've based their business model off of that. I think that Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro have a good idea of what they were doing, and they recognize at a certain point they're going to be so intrinsically involved with big tech that they'll have no choice but to resent them, or to separate themselves from them.
I think that's good. Carolina says, bless you, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And Joseph, we're reading your chats here. I don't typically watch, I listen, but you get my drift. I can listen to what I want, but I work with my hands, brother. Amen. And we're going to, some of your earlier comments, we are going to get to addressing as we go forward with this thing here. So I'm going to bring up this other first clip here, because I think that's a very decent take you had, Donovan. That's generally, I think, a good estimation of where Crowder's gripes are, and I generally agree with your take on where his gripes are. Right. Oh, and of course this thing is going to try to, it's going to give me an ad to go through before I try to play this again. So we're going to wait it out and wait for Hogwarts Live or whatever to fucking finish. There we go.
Hold on a second.
Okay. Calm down, Crowder. So this clip is supposed to be, if I want to fight big tech, then fucking fight big tech. Okay. And then we're going to talk about this, because we have issues with this.
Let me add to this before you do. I also don't think... I think that the way this played out is supremely unnecessary.
Petty.
How public this got. Super petty. Yeah, definitely didn't need to be handled this way. And I don't think this benefits conservatism at all. For this rift to be started and this infighting and this bullshit. I think there's a lot going on that we don't know about and that we will never know about. And
which I think also speaks volumes to his argument of like being transparent with your customers and the people that are investing in you, the listeners and the viewers and shit like that, because you're not telling us the full truth. Obviously, you're keeping things behind closed doors. You're doing this thing. You're only talking about certain aspects of this deal. You're not revealing the full and transparent truth, whether it's because you're trying to hide it or you're just incapable of contextualizing it and actually trying to articulate that out loud during a fucking live stream podcast, because you're not in your zone right now.
Yes.
So I don't know. Crowder's not the best communicator, really.
And I
so
think that's
it could be an aspect.
And I think that's how we ended up with, these phone calls being recorded and like all this type of weird backwards type of shit that we saw.
Yeah. And baby, I see your chat there. FYI, the sound of the video sounds very loud. Yes, unfortunately, every one of these videos has a different audio level, and so I try to match that on the mixer as we play the video. So bear with me for the first few seconds of this. We're going to let this first clip play, and we will get into it. It's supposed to start around 103.50, so we'll just start here and we'll let it ride.
Right off into freedom and do whatever the hell we wanted with this really great email list.
It would be the hardest way
for that. We
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah.
It was clear.
And you saw the numbers there.
It sounds like you guys are like right on
We'll
the
address the
precipice
numbers.
of creating your own network or your own website where people pay
numbers
you
also
$10 a
concern
month
me.
and just get
And
access
I
to
really
that.
don't want to have to do that. Like, here's the thing, right?
we
Wouldn't it
This
be
is
great if
the-
you could
this-
link arms with the self-professed most powerful people on our side who are supposedly fighting for us?
we go.
But the problem is when they say
Fuck,
we
I
have
gotta
no interest in
rewind
doing that.
because we
Not
were
an-
playing that and I didn't switch to the right.
It'd be great if you could link arms with the self-professed most powerful people on our side who are supposedly fighting for us. But the problem is when they say we have no interest in doing that, you go, wait, hold on a second. Here's the good news. I bring tidings of great joy. We can get just as many viewers on Rumble as you can on YouTube. And by the way, stay on YouTube, but just don't punish conservatives for being demonetized. They go, this is the business. We know. No one else does. I don't want to start a network.
Is it
If you guys could
because-
counteroffer, what would be the things you would counteroffer right
This
now?
is it
What
right
deal
here.
would you guys take from a big company? Let's not just say the Daily Wire. Let's just say there's another company. What's your ideal deal?
Gerald can
So
take.
Luke is asking him if you could counteroffer, if there was an offer that you would take somewhere on the board right now, what would
Because
it
they
be?
never did. They never officially counteroffered. There's a lot of question about.
There's a question
he
of
says,
whether or
well,
not
my
they never
agent
did.
was in discussion with them, and
Yes.
he said this because Crowder says, "Well, I never asked for $130 million."
Exactly.
That's
But my
why I
super
did.
conservative,
Right.
ultra gay Cuban agent might have.
Right
whatever.
of Attila the Hun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he's not going to. He's going to answer this with another question.
Because here's the problem.
Yeah.
I would take a deal. I would have taken a deal that was less money, and more honest, and more
Yeah.
freedom, and not penalizing other people. He steps in because I'm like, yeah, it sounds like good money. He's like, you don't know what our expenses are, Gio. I'm like, I don't know, Gerald. You tell me.
I got
There are a
got
lot of
You
different
don't know
terms
your
that you would
business
have to
model
negotiate.
without telling me you don't know how your business
He doesn't
runs.
even know what
because
his
he has
expenses
no
are.
fucking idea. He has to go to Gerald and say, "What? I don't know. You tell me. What are our numbers there, big guy? I'm just an on-screen talent."
Negotiate. And this has been the sticking point from the very beginning, and it kind of goes back to something that you said about Candace getting these questions.
Which makes
It's-
it,
it is just-
which makes it even harder to argue that you run or built this business when you don't know what's going on. Like you obviously haven't actually done it by yourself. There's
Yeah.
always been someone there to run the numbers with you, or else you would have some idea. And I'm not trying to shit on Crowder, but there's dishonesty going on here.
Yes.
This is not transparent. There's dishonesty going on here, and
I like Crowder show as much as the next guy, but there's a lot of dishonesty going on here. Whether how much is coming from what side or both sides or whatever, it's obvious. There's obvious dishonesty going on here, which makes me distrust you.
yes,
Which I do not like that.
You're
I
claiming to be
enjoy your
transparent
show,
and you're
man.
not.
Don't make me not want to watch your show no more because you during your fucking off time. It is February, damn near. Why are you not making shows right now? You have a production house.
Right.
Why are you not making shows right now? We'll see. He evaded the question like a champ. That's what Carolina says. All right, carry on.
Just 100%. You don't start with these terms in the contract. Again, it was like, oh, it's a term sheet, negotiate. Of course we negotiate. I've been doing that. I understand that that is part of the process. That's what you do in these things. But if you're going to start there and we say, hey, that's not something that should be in this movement, and you're like, well, we're not coming back to the table. By the way, after the Ryman, we were expecting them to come back and have changed that and made an offer that we could then start negotiating from. That never-
And I like this. He brings up this comedy show they did at the Ryman Theater, right? In the comparison he's trying to make there is that if we can fill seats at the Ryman for a comedy show, then why aren't they coming back to us and making us another offer? Because they see we filled the venue with
Ryman.
the
Yeah.
Ryman Theater with I don't know how many, let's just say very, very liberally a few thousand seats. I
Yeah.
don't know, but obviously not hundreds of thousands of people that are going to watch you on YouTube. I
Right.
don't know why you would expect that to be a sticking point for somebody that you were trying to do a business deal with. I'm trying to sell you on 300,000+ subscribers, and I'm going to go do a comedy show, which is not the show I do on the internet.
Right.
And then I expect you to come back with a counteroffer after you come to my comedy show?
Because I can.
What the fuck are you talking about? These are two
Right.
different things, man. Two very different things. Maybe if you were going to argue in your terms that like, hey, I want to do a comedy special, I want you guys to produce that because that's going to be successful. That might be an argument point right there. And like, this is I'm not going to make What Is a Woman. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a comedy special that a lot of your political people are going to like. There's a selling point right there, but that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about trying to sell your entire show to another media corporation. That is not a venue to make that argument for.
Or maybe if you filled an arena. Like if you filled an arena and
Yes.
you can show multiple thousands of people that are not only willing to show but spend
Or tens of thousands of people.
right.
Yeah, because
Right.
that's devotion right there. I mean, people are going to put up with that
I say
hassle
an
and that
arena
shit.
because if you think like Madison Square Garden holds like 18,000 people, right? And that's I'm saying if he was able to fill a venue like that, even though it isn't the 300,000 that he's promising, those people are still paying $100+ a ticket, and so
Exactly.
the dollar amount translates into
Yes.
something that you can negotiate
Exactly.
with. But if you're talking about the Ryman Theater, which is like you said, probably just a few thousand seats,
Let's
you know, we
fucking
can
Google
look it
real
up.
quick.
Yeah,
Let's look it up real quick. I'll switch out here.
Not that it isn't. We're not filling theaters. We're not shitting on Crowder for that. But what it doesn't translate to, they're claiming 300,000 minimum subscribers is what they're bringing on day one to Daily Wire. They're saying 300,000 bare minimum, which seems like
The Ryman,
2,300 people.
2,300 people.
So 24 if we're being liberal about it, right? That
Yeah.
does not make the 300,000 that you're talking about,
No.
right?
It's an apples and orange comparison
And he's
at that
saying
point.
bare minimum 300K subscribers
Yes.
day one.
And we will get into why that is a blatant lie as we go along. So we will carry on because he hasn't quite made the point I thought he was going to make yet. Oh, yeah, he's going to answer this question from Luke, which he's not actually going to answer.
What happened?
So this is the term sheet right here. I've got it. This is the
Is
whole
that
thing.
the first one?
I don't know.
Or-
This
that one that was sent, I guess, October 5th.
it says non-binding term
Yeah.
sheet, confidential.
The first
it does
one.
say.
Exactly. He's very confused about that
So you
because,
didn't negotiate, but you have more than one term sheet.
well,
No,
No.
I mean,
I got to point out for you, Stephen. It says if any of the major platforms issue a strike, you would have the fee reduced. It gives examples of the major platforms are. I'm assuming that's not limited to. In which case, it looks like they're basically saying what at their discretion they determine what a major platform is.
yes.
this is the language of a man who has actually done business and understands what contracts actually
Tim
look
Pool.
like and
Yeah.
you know, going back and forth, because they would own everything he created during that term. That would include his comedy. Their initial offer didn't mention it other than everything belongs to us. That was not my understanding of that take. Listening to the Jeremy Boring
The
episode.
way that it was explained, it was things that they paid to
for.
produce,
Yes.
which would have been his show during that time, because they said the backlog would have gone back to him
Yes.
after the term was over, and then any comedy specials that they paid to produce, because they were also
Would
talking
be
about
theirs.
up to $2.5 million a year
Yes.
for special productions, which would have I assume would have been a comedy special.
It would have been, yeah, for Crowder, a comedy special would have probably made sense, right? So
Right.
your one major production a year, and then the monthly specials, which would have been his Change My Minds.
There's also, I think, a difference.
Which again, that would be a big deal to Crowder because those are huge things for him, and he would not have access to those when he left.
There's
right?
also a disparity between the content and the intellectual property, right?
Yes.
Because there's been a lot of talk, like when Tyler working stuff like that, about the ideas, the names, the stuff like this, right? That's a whole different deal. Whether we're talking about the actual content and the intellectual property behind those things, who owns that when it's done? Like
Yeah.
that's a whole different conversation that doesn't seem to be addressed in this contract.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
drinking
he
this beer,
produces
by the way.
everything out of his $50 million. Let's do it again. So, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The production costs
Okay,
come
let's
out
do
of
it
that.
again.
The daily shows. There was another, my understanding, and I would have to, I guess
Uh-huh.
I would have to watch the Jeremy Boring thing again, but there was like almost a separate pool of money they were talking about for the yearly productions and then like the bi-yearly productions.
Yeah.
That was separate from
And
the
it
$50
is-
million.
I
The
will say
$50
this,
million
though. Mm-hmm.
was for the 192 shows a year. Those productions come out of that $50 million was my
Mm-hmm.
understanding of it.
And I do have to go back and listen again, Joseph, because my initial understanding the first few times I listened to that Jeremy Boring video is he at least made indications, whether or not it said that or not in those term sheets, and ultimately would have to be. And ultimately, I don't really give a fuck about this conversation because he did not negotiate the contract. So he didn't actually get to a point where he was about to sign and
Because
then
this is all the
decided not to,
non-binding
right?
term sheet, and there isn't
Right.
anything to say that he couldn't have negotiated out
Exactly.
to separate those
So
things.
I don't want to put too much stock in the shittiness of the initial term sheet.
Right.
Because
Everyone else said they
You could do
negotiated
that.
out of that original
Word.
term sheet. Brett
Word.
Cooper and Candace Owens both said that
Yeah.
the things that Crowder claims everyone is beholden to, they negotiated out of.
that's what they claim, right?
Right.
And
But
so
every
that's
time he's pressed on that, he says, well, Jeremy Boring said.
yes. And that so I don't want to get too much caught up in that because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? It really doesn't matter at the end of the day because this deal was never done. The contract was never changed from the initial non-binding term sheet. Got it. You could be as offended as you wanted. I got it. That's okay.
Right.
Because ultimately there's other things to this situation that add to like the egregiousness of Crowder's situation at this point that makes me very distrustful of the situation.
Joseph says he said send a better offer and they didn't.
Indeed.
And that's not
That's-
necessarily how good faith negotiations go, where you just say start over, send me a completely new offer. And we can, not we can, but you could argue this all day from a business perspective, whether or not that's how they should have started negotiations. That's, according to Daily Wire, that's how they open negotiations with all these talents, is with that very similar sheet with kind of a different number at the top, is
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds
So,
like, which is
again,
not
you
a good
can-
way to do business.
No. And again, we could argue
Shitty.
that all fucking day.
Exactly.
Right? But it's just a policy difference whether or not Crowder should have, in good faith, sent back, marked that up and sent it back, or did what he did and just said, "Fuck that, start over. I'm not doing this."
I'm not spending thousands of dollars marking up this bullshit.
Who knows?
Just do it again. Because
I
have had.
I know I wouldn't be pleased if I sent an offer to someone that I thought was good, regardless of whether or not it is. If I thought it was a good offer, and they said, "Fuck that, start over,"
Because I
wouldn't-
can tell you
wouldn't
right
feel
now,
good about it.
in my business experience, this is something I'm going to write about in the piece this
Yep.
month. So make sure if you want to get a hold of that and read some of that stuff this month, get in right now at the $5 tier.
$5. One
That's all you
article
need.
written by me, one article by Colin.
That's right. You can get that at the end of the month this month. But I'm going to be talking about this because I've been in that situation on both ends. I have sent people contract proposals
Santa's
for
teabag.
Yeah, try it because
What is this?
it's hot garbage is what it is at this point. I thought it was really tasty on Christmas, but I had also been drinking gin and tonics all day already, so that might have changed my palate. But I'm tasting it now, and it's kind of like Jägermeister beer, and I'm not into it at all. I'm about to like switch it up.
Whoa.
Thank you. I can't drink this
Whoa.
all fucking. I can't do this all segment. You're gonna have to get me another beer cha-cha.
That is a red line word, and that's I see. You're
yeah.
you're not right or wrong. It's a policy difference.
Exactly.
Like many other
And that's
things
what I'm
about
saying.
how- yeah.
Like I have sent out what I fully thought, being in the industry that I was, which was land development for a while. I thought I sent off very good faith offers to people that had turned around and be like, they were offended that I sent them this offer. I have to completely redo it, blah, 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 this, that, and everything. And ultimately I just go, well, fuck you then. I'm not doing business with you. It's not
Yeah.
a good way to do it. And then I've also been in the same boat as people have sent me contractual proposal. Then I've been like, you're fucking high as shit. There's no way this is happening. I'm not doing this. How could you can't even pretend like you understand my business if this is the number you're sending me. Fuck
Yeah.
you. I'm out. I'm not doing business with you either. So I get it.
And that happens to
Gin and
consumers
tonic?
too, yeah.
Oh, gin and ginger ale. Gin and ginger ale. Got to add some time to it.
lime.
Oh, some lime to it. Amen. But
that
no, this was
happens-
Christmas. It was gin
That
and
happens to
ginger ale.
Happens to consumers too. You remember when we were trying to get someone to do the roof? You know, and we
Yes,
had
yes.
one person, the lowest bid that was like, oh, we'll fucking do this patch job and shit for like $600. And
Yeah.
some people that were like, oh, we got to do the whole roof. We need to do the insulation.
Yeah,
We
I
need
need
to
like
do-
15 grand.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. The highest number we heard was $19,000 when
Yes.
we needed some flashings around the roof and a small patch job.
Yes. And now you can kind of see the narrative
Right.
of my piece this month, right? So anyways, I keep feeling like I just wrote down the wrong number because I'm like a minute and a half into this and we're not to the point that I thought I was. So I might just go to the next one.
What is this point supposed to be?
The point was supposed to be, if you are the Daily Wire and you claim to be fighting big tech,
Yeah.
then fucking fight big tech. Do not include these terms in here where you're going to penalize me for being demonetized, for being struck on YouTube, for having big tech come against me. Because we're all supposed to be fighting big tech. So if you're trying to fight big tech as you so claim,
Yeah.
then put your money where your mouth is and fucking hire us. And
I
don't.
think
Don't.
that is, I think that's what he's
Don't
saying.
put
Keep
these
going.
terms in here.
Because at first he said it to Ian, it shouldn't be up to us. Like, it
Exactly.
shouldn't be up to you.
And then, so if Twitter gave you a suspension, they'd dock your fee by 25%, even though Twitter is not a major driver of platform or host.
Right.
But you know what the good news is? Could have been clarified and put in writing. Never was.
No. And by the way, I said that the first one because that didn't look like the Daily Wire one that you were holding. I was like, did you get the offer from somebody else?
No. That's because I think we did reader view or some shit.
By the way, do me a favor. I just need to understand this because one of the arguments that was put forth is, well, this is just a standard starting point for everybody. Okay.
I don't play those games. I don't do that.
Hold on. No, but it's not just a
Right,
term
you don't play
sheet.
that
It's not
fucking
just a
game.
term sheet. Everybody else, their production comes out of you. You knew Steven well enough to know that he had his own production team, and therefore the costs would be borne by him. But everything else was just standard.
That's the
And
requirement.
our apologies
Oh, right.
for leaving it in there because that was one of the claims that was made. This is just the standard contract, negotiating start point of term sheet that we always give to everybody.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but you knew Steven well enough to know he did all of his production, but then you're saying the rest of that
It's
was
a production
just standard.
company. It's a production house, right? It's everything. It's 25 employees.
It's just disingenuous, guys. It's not real.
Well,
And-
do they not know better, or is it dishonest? Let me ask you this: do you really think? I will say this: the only thing I've said about Ben is Ben is brilliant. He's one of the smartest people I've ever known.
Oh, he is.
I don't care
Certainly
what he
think so.
says. Okay, I still hope the best for the guy. And by the way, for people out there, and I know that they're anti-Semitic people, I've not said there's none of this controlled opposition. I 100% believe that Ben believes what he says, even if we disagree. None of that is taking place. The problem is when you demand that other people fall into line. But do you really believe for a second that Ben is so ignorant that he thinks that's $50 million a year in my pocket basketball money? Do you think Ben believes that?
Yeah,
he knows
no, that was bullshit.
yeah.
I will say that much. When he said that shit on his show, when Ben Shapiro said, that's fucking basketball money, we're sending you $50 million, well, he fucking knows better.
Right.
100% he knows better. And at that point, I think he was just getting emotional. And he was saying that stuff on his show. When he finally clapped back on his show, that is 100% bullshit. Crowder's totally in the right in that face, And this is the problem with the drama aspect of all of this, right?
That's why
we
I
get so
don't-
far away. We get so
Right.
fucking away from all this shit.
I'm not trying to defend the Daily Wire because I also don't think
It's
they
scummy.
handled. Yes, I don't think they handled this the way that it should have. Right. My main point is that I don't think the public aspect of this made it better. I don't think it helps the situation,
No, it doesn't.
and I don't. I guess I cannot blame Crowder for taking offense to it because
No.
because I just said it's a policy difference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think there's a different way that it could have been handled that could have benefited him more. And I think if he were to have pursued this with the Daily Wire and they really pushed back on some of these terms and stipulations that he felt were benefiting or were at the behest of big tech, then I think maybe this public approach would have been more warranted.
And that-
where if he
yeah.
wasn't able to skirt the Daily Wire from those stipulations, then yes. But there, like I said, are two other people who are already contracted with them who said they don't have to follow those rules. So the claim that everyone has to and that new people would be beholden to it is not necessarily true because this is Brett Cooper's first political media contract and she negotiated out of that. So that isn't necessarily true.
Yeah.
But I think if they weren't willing to compromise on it, then it would be worth openly questioning why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Why are they not willing to look at another way of doing this when
Yeah.
I have been able to present that there is other options?
And I think that's where enter phone call recording and the point he was trying to make during that was
And
like,
it's a
take me out of it. Just take me out of it completely. I'm not, pretend like I'm not involved here. Like you're not making new talent sign these things, right?
yes.
But again, like you said, you can look at the newest, youngest member of Daily Wire. She did negotiate her way out of that. Like
Right.
there's no case to be had to make this at this point. If this is a bad faith entry point, he made his point at that point. And yes, it is bad. It's a bad faith entry point at that point. If you are going to be trying to push back against big tech and say, well, at the same time, you can't be kicked off of this, otherwise we're going to fine you, blah, blah, blah. Bad news bears. And at that point, Crowder should have realized, obviously, I am too big for my britches anymore. I am not in a position, in a creative standpoint, my show is not in a position anymore where I can work with these companies anymore because they're all like that. They're fucking all like that. And I'm sorry, Crowder, but fucking newsflash, you don't have to be there anymore. It is a
Right.
new world now.
Yeah.
You can start something new. Unfortunately, you're going to have to work for it, which sounds like something you don't want to
doesn't wanna do.
because that's fine. He doesn't want to run a company. I can understand it. He's a creator. That's why he's pushing Gerald into the CEO position and
Which
making
is
him run the
fine.
business, which is fine. That's fine. But understand, if this is where your ideology tells you have to go, and this is where you need to fight like hell, like you advertise on all your fucking merch right now.
Right.
You need to fight like hell, bro. I understand you don't want to have this fight, that you
Yes.
want to pass the torch, that you're fucking tired of this game. But the game's not going anywhere, bud.
Right.
And if this is as important to you, I don't care how much you don't want to fucking fight. Pick up your ideological rifle and hit the fucking trenches, bud. This is where we're at.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
I wish it was a different world too, bud, but it ain't.
If there isn't another company that's going to do what you're talking about, then the idea of it shouldn't have to be me doesn't work anymore, because it does have to be you, because no one else is going to do it.
Exactly.
You ideally you would be able to find another company who is willing to tackle the big guys like
Yeah.
you don't want to do. But obviously that's not the point anymore, because the one company that you thought would do it, the Daily Wire,
Yeah.
isn't going to do that.
What do we say about fucking the president all the time? The one person that doesn't want to be president should probably be the dude that should be president. If you don't want to fight this fight, you should probably fight this fight, bud.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is where you're at.
And I don't
It sucks.
respect the unwillingness to start his own. It's as simple as starting your own website. Start your own website and collect money through that website and do all of your shit on YouTube, and then another 30 minutes, just like you do right now on The Blaze, on your own website.
Yeah. How many
Do-
people drop their subscriptions or will let it go for Crowder?
Do you mean
A
from,
fucking lot,
from The
bud.
Blaze or from Daily Wire?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I would assume from The Blaze, because he's talking about for Crowder.
Because there were also people on the Timcast chat that were saying that they were going to leave Daily Wire because they had lost respect for
Oh,
them because of
yeah,
the way
yeah.
they handled this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's either way is an honest question.
There's going to be
Um,
crossover both ways at this point. People are
Yes.
going to leave. People are going to come.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
be a
think-
thing.
I think that's part of my
Trepidation on this
No,
thing.
no, part of my perceived aggression towards Crowder's point of view is I don't respect the unwillingness to start his own deal. I really
don't.
respect that.
I really don't either.
look down on it, because if his audience is as big as he claims it is, then he would have no problem collecting fucking millions
Mm-hmm.
and making his shit as great as it could be,
Yep.
and continuing to grow, and then doing what he's talking about and bringing on new people underneath him for nominal amounts of money at his own cost, for them to be protected, because they can be under the Daily or under Crowder when he pairs with Rumble, and everything is through Rumble servers anyway, because that's what he's talking about at the end of the day is fuck YouTube. I'm going to Rumble because we don't need YouTube anymore, and that's what we should just be doing. That's
what he should be doing.
Then you should do that. Then you should only do your shit on Rumble, and then host the other 30 minutes on your website where you can say really whatever you want, really whatever you want.
And it'll cost you a lot of money.
Yep.
Because you'll have to have your own servers and your own bandwidth costs.
And you'll have to throw the fuck down with Rumble. But if you believe that's what the future is, then that's what you should do, because it's obvious no one else is going to step up and do that. Even the Daily Wire.
Amen.
Then that's what you have to do.
You're too big for this game anymore, bud.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Because that's what he's requesting someone else does. And it's like you said, you're too big for that. When you're the biggest conservative YouTuber, you're too big for that.
Yep.
You can't. It's time. You have to either become a corporation.
Just like Tim, Deborah says.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
you're
got to
too
do
big for
your
that.
thing, man. And Tim had it better off because he was able to grow into
Just like Tim,
Timcast, right?
Rippaverse, right? He does the
Rippaverse,
exact
bro.
same thing. Just put out
Fuck.
all of his own fucking comic books, his
That
own
dude,
content, his own everything.
He is like
through
my
his own
favorite
website.
fucking
Eric
human.
July. Yes.
He is so awesome.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. He does
No.
his shit on YouTube, and then if you want to watch it later, you pay him on his website.
And his big thing, is comic books, right? That's how he came up. He's a big comic book guy. He just
Music?
Had
Yeah,
he did
he's
a
a-
fan. Yeah, he came from the music universe, right?
So-
So he was already tuned up to this kind of manipulative contract thing, but like, it's a different world, but it's somewhat equivalent
The same
because of
concept
the
applies.
Yeah, because of the manipulative contracts, right?
And Crowder is from show business, so he knows how to produce content. He has a production
Exactly.
line. That's what he knows how to
he
do.
makes good content. It's
Help
very
people
popular.
make good content
Yes.
that gets views.
He is conveniently pulling dollars from the overlap and taking
Oh,
them
Daily
with
Wire
him.
has lost subs. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. I'm not at all surprised.
yeah.
No.
And
I'm
I think
not
that's
surprised.
And overall, it's probably better for the movement in general if the conservative movement is what we're talking about here, which I don't necessarily agree with because I'm not on board with the overall conservative message, if you will. I'm much more on board with them than anybody else, other than our few fucking ANCAP people and libertarians. But
Yeah.
we never make any money and we're never very popular, so we'll take that.
You guys can help us. Go
Amen.
subscribe to the Patreon.
Let's do it. Don't make Deborah stand alone. Give her a community to hang out with on
Eventually,
Patreon.
we're going to buy something with that money. I don't know.
It'll be. I'm sure all proceeds will go to the new studio.
Something
Shh,
cool.
She said. Shh. She's like, I want to be alone. Leave me alone. Okay, so we're gonna move on because we have one quick little point right here that I know pisses you off,
Oh,
and so
God.
we're gonna hit that real quick, and then we're gonna get into Mug Club Forever and the numbers and all that good stuff.
Yes.
So here we go with that.
This is how you talk, and it's genuine. It's genuine. Here's the thing: keep doing it if that's what they want. I'm not going to. At a certain point, my tolerance will run out. So send 4, send 5. At a certain point, don't send anyone you expect back in one piece.
But what will you make? Right? You talked at the
we go.
beginning something. You were saying something about
Right there, he was talking about like the hatchet men from Daily Wire are going to come after him after this episode, which was not true. And let me play through this ad real quick. I just noticed it popped up. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. I hate mobile games forever because they are they're just fucking stealing money from people's pockets.
hard for everyone to just pay all across the board randomly to different
Here we
people.
go.
Like if you want to support a creator, you're on one website, you're on another website.
Yes,
you-
yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you?
It's a
do it
subscription
different?
fatigue, right? You have the same with
Right.
like Netflix and Hulu. So, can I answer your question with a question to Crash Test Dummies here?
Yeah,
I just had to bring that up there.
I did. I started to feel like he's real narcissistic because I don't know. That's totally my perception, and I don't know if I was just getting tired of him. Like I said, I should probably watch it again now.
His
that I'm
name
cold
is
from
right
it.
behind him.
Yeah, it is right
Ian
behind
Crossland.
him. I got the real sense that he just doesn't know what Ian's name is, which seems ridiculous because his name is Ian. It's 3 letters and it's right behind him, and I know that he met him before, and I just got the sense that he's like Crowder's so
Yes.
wrapped up in himself that he played this off as a joke, you know what I'm saying? That like he actually just couldn't remember
I
his
just
name,
want to
so
ask
he thought of something.
Crash Test Dummies over
Yeah,
there.
and there was something else that happened too that I thought of that, but that's a
It's
minor
petty.
point.
I just wanted to hear you get upset about it.
Yes, I do. And to Joseph, yeah, I don't disagree with Crowder. I don't disagree with him at all. I don't like the way that this played out, and I don't think either party is being totally transparent or honest, which I don't appreciate because they're both claiming to be transparent and honest. So I don't appreciate that, and I really, really have a disdain for the unwillingness to like nut the fuck up like he's requesting other people do. I think that's
Yes.
some real weak shit.
That's probably my biggest problem with all this. Like, I don't disagree with him on any aspect of this contract bullshit. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like legacy media.
No.
Period. Full stop. And Daily Wire is legacy media at this point. It's the same business model. It's just a different output.
And I
I
think-
don't disagree with it's a bad business. It's dirty business. I don't disagree with him on that. I 100% support him in calling it out. I don't agree with necessarily the methodology of how he's doing
Right.
it. I don't like how he's going about it, but he's not wrong that it's gross, right? And I think, given what we talked about yesterday, like on the fucking beer show, I don't like the fact that it kind of makes demigods out of these particular personalities that talk about these certain lanes that they become in, and they become super, super popular, and,
Right.
and it makes people devout followers, and then in turn makes them devout like Daily Wire followers.
Right.
Which is why we're seeing that schism of people leave Crowder for Daily Wire or leave Daily Wire for Crowder at this point, right? We're seeing numbers change at this point because the true colors are starting to come out.
And I think another issue I have leading into this, the numbers and stuff, is that the unwillingness of Crowder to start his own deal makes me question the numbers that he claims, because if he's talking about 300,000 bare minimum, that's a shitload. That's just a fuckload of money, an absolute fuckload of money. Even if you're talking about, I don't know how much it is, but $5 per subscription, when it's, $100 a year, whatever he does now, that is an insane amount of money.
It's an insane amount of money.
And so that's what makes me hesitant, is if you stand to make that much money, why wouldn't you start your own website and collect fucking cash?
Yeah.
Because then you could do whatever you want.
You've already decided that your business partner, Gerald, is going to run that aspect of things. What is stopping you? And I think it's, as we're about
right.
to crack into,
Their-
I think it's
their
because
claim
you
is those
can't,
people are going to pay them today.
because you can't trust those numbers, right?
Yeah.
And when your message is this,
Honey, I won't be home.
If we continue down this route, then there's got to be other people, right? We have to have
Yeah.
other shows on there. I could have again just gone off and done it and just kept Mug Club, but Gerald, I said like, look, either I'm going to leave at this point, or we can't just complain and bitch.
Yeah.
We have to do it better, and that's kind of where we are. And by the way, we still haven't decided what it is that we're going. It's a tough decision to make. I own 100% of Mug Club, always have.
that's what makes me think his
What
company's
does
called Mug
that
Club.
mean?
That's what I'm thinking. His production company, it's got to be called Mug Club or something like that, right? And Deborah and Joseph, I do not disagree with you. She says Jeremy Boring is a weasel, or her impression is that, and Jeremy, it's just literally business. Yes, yeah. No, I think that's the case. I
Straight
think
business.
I
Yeah.
think he is in it to make, to go with what Ben Shapiro on that interview did when they started Daily Wire, was to make a money printing machine.
Yeah.
And I think that is in line with their company's ethos, is if you are not going to be a money printing machine for us, we don't want to do business with you, which I do think is weaselly. And I do think that is their business model. It is just business.
And he claimed to be friends with Crowder, and that's why he was like very offended by the phone call thing. And if that's the case, then he probably should have handled this contract situation more delicately, other than to Crowder's point. He probably should have, Jeremy Boring probably should have handled it more delicately.
If
as
he was
opposed
interested
to-
at all,
yeah,
he should have
Yeah.
should have known what he was getting into, because
Yeah.
you're dealing with the biggest fish in the sea at that point.
Yes.
And
Colin does hate Gerald.
you're
Colin
not
fucking
wrong.
hates Gerald.
Joseph, you've been watching the show for too long.
He hates Gerald.
Well, no, I'm just saying. And I will say this. It does sound like Gerald knows a little bit about business. He sounds like he's the one
He's
doing the
smarter than we
contract
thought he was.
negotiations. And I just, there's nobody else. I mean, everybody's got to have somebody you hate a little bit. I mean, come on now. It's playful. I'm sure if I met Gerald in person, he seems like one of the nicest human beings on the planet.
He's probably very sweet.
He just, come
But
on,
he
let me
is-
have this,
He does
Joseph.
seem like
Come
an
on,
absolute
buddy.
fucking goofball.
Oh, and Carolina's going to the airport. Sweetheart, I love you. Have a great night on airport standby.
Bye, Carolina. We love you.
She's got to go to work.
Let's see.
Okay, we continue.
Yes.
Also, I hate that I have to show you all this because you're not of use to me to go get me another beer that doesn't taste like Jägermeister.
Oh, I can do it. Where they at? Are they inside or outside?
They're inside.
Oh, I can hear it.
Honestly, just one more. Okay. Now we're going to get into the claim that Crowder makes about Mug Club.
We did the Mug Club Forever, so we now know how many people are out there. We were really clear. We're like, do not go to Mug Club Forever unless you are currently in Mug Club. We're going to send out double captcha, double opt-in, culled the list, so we know. We're like, don't go. And is it a newsletter? No. Are you going to get any spam? Nothing. Any updates? Only when and where and if Mug Club returns. And
Okay. So the claim he just made is that he was very, very clear that sign up for mugclubforever.com, right? But
Yes.
only if you're a current Mug Club subscriber or you intend to
That's
sign
what
up,
he
right?
just said.
Only, just do that. That's the claim. We were very, very clear about that. It's not a newsletter. Blah, blah, we're not going to send you spam, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do that, right? Well, when you go back in time, when he announced mugclubforever.com,
Yep.
that was not at all his meshes at the time.
In December, right?
And Dave is the shit. Ahoy. Ahoy.
Yeah, Dave
And
is great.
yes, I almost quit watching Crowder at one point, and then Dave Landau started to come more regularly, and I really appreciated Dave Landau's comedy, and then I stayed for Dave, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So now we're going to explore which one was the first one. Huge announcement. That comes second. So this was in the opening of the show. I think it was one of his next to last shows when he first announced Mug Club Forever. So listen exactly how he says, how he sells Mug Club Forever.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, to his credit, Crowder's jacked.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean-
when he was coming back from injury, he had some like clips of him in the gym, you know?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
was fucking lat pull down like whole stacks of weights.
Oh, yeah.
Bro. Yeah.
You remember when
he's
he did
jacked.
the thing with the masks, and he
Yeah.
was like, "I'm going to do the mask test of oxygen at the gym and see
Yeah.
how much it, Yeah, word. No,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
nothing
he
bad to
was
say
doing
about that.
one-arm rows with like 95-pound dumbbells. Yeah,
cat.
he's jacked.
Ow,
So
your claw is caught in my jeans, bitch.
that's a +5 for Crowder. He's jacked.
Again, just much like Gerald, if I could sit down at a fucking bar over in where the fuck he's from, Michigan or
Yeah. He shoots
Wisconsin or
guns
whatever.
like a pussy though.
Well, he's not every. I would like to see him and Tim Pool shoot guns next to each other, and then we can make fun of both of them.
I want to see them run some fucking drills instead of standing in one goddamn place and shooting at a target. I also want to see Crowder shoot
That's all right,
something
bro.
bigger than a handgun.
I appreciate the message. I appreciate the two-way love, even
More.
if he don't get down on it. But that's fine. So now, pay attention to what he says about Mug
Yeah,
Club
we'll
Forever,
get back
please.
to it.
And then next Monday, we would have a Christmas special. Christmas special is going to be Wednesday. We will be broadcasting actually Monday and Tuesday, but exclusively on Mug Club. Episodes of You Can't Say That on YouTube because this whole year there have been a lot of things that we can't say, and some of you.
Look at the recording thing on the corner of his desk.
Yeah, it was a prop for Christmas time.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it was not
All right,
for
okay.
that particular. He just
Okay.
did it.
I was like, oh
in
my
the-
god, is
yeah.
this guy fucking previewing that he's a shady fuck? Oh my god.
No,
That
no.
had me hot for a second.
Yeah, no, the talkie thing, because that's from some fucking Christmas
Tim is
movie.
new to guns. That's right.
Yeah, Tim is new to guns.
That's true.
And God bless him for just as soon as he gets in the gun, he gets armed the fuck up.
He's like, why shouldn't I be able to have a nuke?
Exactly.
You tell me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Based as fuck. But
I
yeah,
do
no.
appreciate that he presses like actual representatives on that. He's like, tell
Amen.
me why.
Yeah, tell me why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because he's not wrong. We need a constitutional amendment to tell me I can't have nukes,
Right.
bitch.
Good for
it
him.
says arms. All right, carry on.
You have missed it. But look, we have a major announcement to make tomorrow regarding Mug Club.
Tomorrow.
What that announcement will be remains to be seen. I'm waiting on some information. So I just want to make sure that we don't lose touch with any of you. Please go to mugclubforever.com. Don't enter www or HTTP, any of that stuff. Just mugclubforever.com. Sometimes I guess www doesn't work in incognito mode. Just
And
mugclubforever.com. No backslashes. Enter in your email. You will never receive an email aside from an update as to when, if, and where Mug Club ends up being, wherever that may be, because we want to do right.
Okay. So he's on YouTube telling his YouTube audience
Yep.
who are watching for free
Yep.
on YouTube
Yep.
to go over to Mug Club Forever and sign up
Yep.
to find out the where Louder with Crowder ends up.
Where they're gonna go.
Never once says only if you're a Mug Club member. He is on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. This is anybody can watch this fucking video. It's
Yeah.
got
We'll keep going till the actual show starts, just so we can show
verify,
that-
right?
Yeah.
And I would add that this streamed a month ago and it's got 500,000 views.
Which is a lot.
Well, comparatively to
But
that
he's
means that
also claiming-
300,000 people are in your Mug Club are watching this right now, which means the vast majority of your views on YouTube are just from your paid subscribers, which I have questions about. So we'll carry
right,
on.
which
We
is
ca-
probably not,
not true.
accurate.
By you. Look, there's sponsors, there's all that. What matters is you. You are what makes this show happen. You are the reason that this show is uncancelable. And we are funded entirely by you, Mug Club. Period.
So now he's talking about Mug
If you
Club.
don't sign up, you don't punch your name in, Mug Club ceases to be, all the free content ceases to be. You know that. We know that. We never want to be there with a charity with our hand out. We want to provide you with something. We've tried to provide you with something for many years that you actually want to watch. And I don't know how many of you there are. That's the thing. I only know there's at least 300,000 of you. And if you're watching the show, you want to continue watching that show, go to mugclubforever.com. Just enter in your email.
If you want to watch the show, if you want to continue to watch
Right.
the show, he brought up Mug Club for a minute and then analogized the continuation of the show, the fun of the show to
Right.
Mug Club. But he started off talking about like just if you want to know where we're going to be, sign up here.
And he doesn't say only sign up if you want to join Mug Club.
No,
It
he just
doesn't
kind of
say, like,
makes a quick point about like it only exists because of you,
Right.
Mug Club people.
And I mean, the
so go there.
website says stay in Mug Club or join a new.
Yes, I have the current website pulled up right now.
Right.
And we will make sure that if you have been signed up, timing issues, we'll figure it out, do right by you. I am looking forward to much bigger, better things, exciting new developments. Mugclubforever.com. Nothing else matters but you and us doing right by you. Speaking of doing right by you, oh, crap. I guess everything's going woke now, and we have the exclusive. They're redoing Charlie Brown. I guess this
So yeah, then it gets into the show.
It does, but it also sounds like, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
that if you want to know what's going to happen with Crowder in general,
Yeah.
this is how you should put your email in.
Which is why I signed up.
Right. It doesn't. The website does say join Mug Club or whatever the fuck, but it doesn't. It does sound like that's going to be the best way to find out what is happening with Louder with Crowder.
100%.
Especially after there's no more shows, right? I probably, if I was not tapped in with you, probably would have gone and put my email in just to be like, well, I don't know when he's going to make more shows again because
Exactly.
it doesn't sound like he's doing it on YouTube anymore.
And that's why I signed up. And I checked again this
Right.
morning. I don't have a fucking email yet, but and you'll notice too
I'm interested on how he knows it's at least 300,000.
already, which is something that I don't get.
Tim is trying to push for amendments to restrict nukes, in my opinion, or trying to get it recognized that the Second Amendment needs to be amended. This could backfire tremendous, a bajillion %.
Don't disagree.
Yes.
But I like the like. There's
The
a
point
there's a
that he's
bigger
getting
point.
at, yeah.
Is like you can't tell me I can't have a nuke unless we amend the Constitution.
Which
but
is a
also,
problem for
if
you,
you
not
do,
for me.
But if you do amend the Constitution, now I have problems.
Right.
And I can have a nuke, which is not exactly. Amen. Amen, Joseph. So
Yeah, and I think his point with the nuke thing is that that's a problem for you, not for me. Because if I can get my hands on a nuke, you don't have any legal basis as to why I can't have it.
yes, and so we saw right here, right? This is what this is actually before. This is the original Mug Club. The sign up for mugclubforever.com. It's different from the current one because after this they had a DDoS attack and they could not fix it.
Oh, shit.
And that's when Jeremy from the Quartering stepped in and created the actual new one, which
Okay.
has authentications and stuff like that. But
That's kind
so,
of awesome.
anyways, so that was the first one, right? And then after that,
People hate
what
Crowder.
date was that? What date was that? What date was that? That was December 14th, and
Okay.
then we get into December 15th. This is the following day, right?
Okay.
Mugclubforever.com. Enter in your email. You can bring that up on full screen, Toolman. Just so you, nope.
Not that
Just so
one,
you, this is a
Toolman.
horrible start. Mugclubforever.com. Look,
Note the new website already because they got attacked after that.
yesterday and the day before when we put this up, the servers crashed. We had DDoS attacks. I want to make sure that you know it now 100% works. If you signed up before you are hearing this right now, I ask that you sign up again. The email list may not actually work because of what happened with the servers. So some announcements that we have to make.
People
Okay,
fucking
so-
hate him so much.
Exactly, right? So let's just put this in context, right? You sign up on the original thing. I had to sign up twice
Right.
because essentially that old website, that old email list, that got nuked.
Yeah.
Gone. He had to start from zero again after that because it was a brand new thing. He had to get it set up and then he had to have protections on the website, hence Jeremy from the Quartering's involvement. And so at that point, like he is like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I just lost all these people that said they were going to follow me, blah, blah, blah. My email list is gone now.
Yeah.
And now he's got a brand new email list, which apparently Jeremy from the Quartering said he's seen the numbers. They verify with what he's saying.
Okay.
And that's my cross check on this is Jeremy.
that the email list verifies with
Yes.
the numbers that he's saying.
Roughly the numbers, at least
But-
300,000.
Right. But
But
that doesn't mean that all
Subscriptions.
of the people on the email list are going to pay him whatever he's going to ask them to pay him.
yes, because
I'm
I
not-
probably won't.
Right. To be clear, I do think that Crowder is going to make a fuckload of money.
Hard yes.
I think there's a shitload of people with 6 million subs or 5 million subs. You're going to make a shitload of money regardless. Even if
100%.
it's only 5% of those people, that's still a shitload of money.
Still a shitload of money.
So, yeah, at the current rates, that is a shitload of cash.
Uh-huh.
But the actual numbers.
It's more
is what's
than what Daily
important
Wire
because-
offer him.
Yeah, but the actual numbers are important because that's what he's waving around, hanging at the end of his dick. Is this 300,000?
That's your bargaining chip when you
Yeah.
go into negotiations. Yes, that's the flag hanging off, waving around the end of your dick. That's your
Yes.
bargaining chip in negotiations.
Yeah, we can call it a medal if you want.
Yes.
It's a chip,
I, Mug Club, am leaving the Blaze. This
He
is a
says I Mug Club, so I'm thinking his production company's called Mug Club.
Okay.
It has to be at this point, right?
Yeah.
That's the way he's
long
been saying
time
it.
coming, obviously, and I had been hoping that this would be, of course, a joint statement. I've lost sleep over this for months because I knew that I wouldn't be renewing, and of course, the Blaze knew that I wouldn't be renewing, but I have no way of reaching you. I'm precluded from being able to reach you, and that's why if you go in and enter your email so we don't lose touch with you at mugclubforever.com, we can enter that in there. And every time I mention it to him, I just bring it up.
And
Every time you got good.
It does
Uh,
just
that-
say so I don't lose contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not so you can stay in the Mug Club and keep giving me money. It's not, and I'm not trying to be crass, but like
No,
it's not.
but it's
It's not
important.
clear that it's just for people who are going to pay him.
Yes, which is why I think he is so nervous about this thing, and why on the Timcast video that we watched, like we can even go back and play that portion again. Like he says he has at least 300,000
Bare
Mug Club bare minimum
Bare
Mug
minimum.
Club subscribers. He's got no ability to verify that
Yeah.
all those people are paying subscribers because he doesn't have access to that information.
And that
right?
some of those people don't already subscribe to Daily Wire or wherever the
or
fuck
wherever
he's
the
gonna
fuck
try
they
to
are,
go.
right?
Yeah.
And so he has no ability to say he actually has 300,000 subscribers. He said they fucking quadruple verified. They did the whole thing. We'll play the video, that clip one more time just to back end it so we can get one in the front, one in the back, right? To make sure I'm not fucking telling stories out of schools here.
Yeah.
But this is not the narrative that he is selling on fucking Timcast. It's not correct. He's being disingenuous about that. And I think part of the trepidation about going independent and just saying, fuck it, we're doing this, he doesn't know he doesn't know how much money he's going to have. It's very, I can imagine how terrifying that is. He's got 25 employees. Well, he said he's expanding. He's got 30 employees or 35, whatever it is. He said he was expanding on Timcast. So let's just say bare minimum, he's got 25 employees. That is, I can tell you from running a business, that is a fuckload of mouths to feed.
Yes.
I don't care. I had a bunch of
'Cause
licensed professionals that made $100K a year and all this shit. So I have a general idea of what that means with 20 employees. But with your 25, with production people and interns that you pay and all this stuff, I can get a general idea of what it costs to keep them around salary wise. I'm not telling stories out of school here at that point. I know what kind of money you may or may not be looking at paying payroll every fucking month.
Well, and he's not
But it
wage
ain't-
slaving him if he took offense to what Jeremy
I
Boring said.
guarantee you he's overpaying everybody that works for him.
Yeah.
But still, the amount of money that you're looking at paying those employees, he's probably paying them right now. Crowder seems like the guy.
Right.
He's not going to fire you while he's
Right.
doing it. He's paying you.
He's
These
talking
people,
about hiring more people. He's
Yes.
definitely still paying them.
his website's still putting out fucking articles and shit.
Yeah, so
right?
he's definitely still paying
He's still
them.
paying all of his employees, and he's not making any fucking money at
They're
all.
probably making skits to play whenever he makes fucking shit again.
I guarantee
Just
you.
backlogging skits and
I
shit.
guarantee you, right?
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, he seems like a good dude overall, but business
All
wise,
the videos that they made from the comedy tours that they've been doing, I'm sure he has those all recorded so he can sell that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
because I feel like I heard him say somewhere he's got a special in the works.
he's played clips from those shows too, so he definitely has recorded.
I would
them.
love to see a fucking Crowder special, bro.
I'm very
I'll pay
interested.
pay-per-view for that.
I'm
I'll pay
very
$9.99
interested
for
in a
that.
Crowder special. I want to
Yes.
see if he's actually funny or not. Because I
I've
don't
seen
think
clips
he's that
of him.
funny.
He's not that funny in the clips,
Right.
but we'll see. It's like when Dave Rubin does stand up. Yeah, it's pretty all right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We
We
watched
saw
Dave
him, yeah,
Rubin. It's okay.
live.
Yeah, it's
It's
all right.
okay.
It's not great.
I got a couple cheap laughs. It's
Right.
fine.
I saw Joe Rogan once. That was much better. that was much
Yeah,
much
because
better.
we saw Dave Rubin open up for JBP when he
Yeah.
was in town, And that was, we laughed a little bit.
It was fine.
And then we saw Joe Rogan when he came to town.
Right.
Markedly different.
Yeah. And even his opener, whoever the fuck that was, absolutely.
Ian Edwards.
Oh,
bro.
I don't fucking remember, bro. That
Ian
was
Edwards
so
is
long ago.
legit. I know. He was just on fucking Drink Bros
That
a
was
couple
so
weeks
long
ago,
ago.
so it was great. I like Ian Edwards a lot. So anyways, we got this. We can run this out if you want. Continue. So context and whatever, but
Yeah.
That's why
I got you.
I'll be mentioning it ad
don't wanna
nauseum
be
here
like a
because it's
shield
the only
for
way
everybody.
No.
that I can get in touch with you. I don't know how many of you there. I only know that there are well over 300,000 of you who have paid to sign up and watch. That hundreds of thousands of you watch on Mug Club every day, in addition to the 2 million or so plays and downloads.
So internet traffic, maybe like traffic to his website.
It's not
individual hits
it's
on his
not
website.
to his website because
But if they access it through mugclub.com, right? You
then
said
it
that if
goes
you go
to the Blaze.
but that still would count even if his website mugclub.com redirects to theblaze.com, that's still going to be a hit on that IP address at mugclub.com. So if that's how people are accessing and they're logging in there and then it reroutes to the Blaze, he's still
Okay.
going to be able to log that. And so if he
Yeah.
can track the amount of individual IP addresses that are visiting that website on a daily basis on average, then that could be how he's getting that number. And if he probably doesn't know how to do that, but Jeremy from the Quartering probably does.
yes, he probably does.
So, and if it sounds like
Because I'm going to tell you from my
it sounds like Crowder just kind of opened up the doors and was like, let's just figure out what the fuck is going on here to Jeremy from the Quartering, and they got all this shit figured out.
yeah, probably.
So if
I'm
that's
excited
the
because
case,
apparently the two of them have been working on something. By the way,
so if that's the case, that would make more sense as to how he would have
some idea.
a pretty good idea of how many
Yeah.
people.
And by the time he made this video already, he'd been working with Jeremy from the Quartering
Yeah.
already multiple times.
Because there are definitely going to be people that like use VPNs or whatever, and they go back to his site multiple times a day. So some of that is going to be adjusted, but
There's got to be some. I
but
wish
if
I
he
was
said,
techie enough to know.
Right, but he said well over. So if you're talking about even 350, right, 350,000 people
It's got
on
to be
average
well over.
a day.
You got to be over 350 if you're going to
It's-
say well over.
Right, then it's probably not 50,000 people that are double visiting with the VPN every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Although anybody that's going to watch Crowder probably has a VPN on. Well, a good
I don't
portion
know
of his
about
audience, I should
anyone.
say. I would say a good portion of his
But,
audience will.
but even then,
will.
his show's only an
Yeah.
hour and a half, and you're probably watching it all at one clip. Especially if you're watching it when he goes live, and if you're
Yeah.
not, then you're saving it till later. You're watching it all in one clip.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine you don't have to go back to
true.
his show more than once. It's
Yeah.
not long enough.
No, it's not. So
And it-
anyway,
and
I
it-
think that's some good context, though, because we
Yeah.
don't really know. We don't know how the fucking internet works.
No,
Unfortunately,
that's
there's probably ways to backdoor those numbers. And we're
common
gonna,
sense, right, Joseph?
That's right, Joseph. 25 employees plus production expenses. I need to
30
it
plus.
needs to be a.
He talked
yeah,
about
30
hiring more
plus.
people on Timcast. 30
Yeah,
plus,
that's
6
true.
new people.
They're expanding.
Yeah.
And that's something, like I said, I will talk about in my piece at the end of the month over on patreon.com.
I want to see where it goes. I like watching his show.
I do like watching the show, but I'm not willing to pay money for his show. Which, call me a shill,
I
call
would
me
pay
whatever.
him a
I don't
nominal,
know.
a small fee every month, but I don't want to. I don't like the yearly subscriptions. That's
Well-
a personal thing. I don't like that. I don't like paying.
I don't do the yearlies.
$100 at one time.
I
don't
pay
like
more
that.
money to do month by month
Yeah.
because I am fucking, what do you call that? I'm real.
I'm a cheap fucker.
Well, it's just like the only person I've done yearly for at this point, call me a shill at this point because I pay yearly for Daily Wire.
Okay.
And that's because
Amazon for Prime, you have to. That's a yearly. Like
that's true. But I'm not watching.
PlayStation. I'm
You know what I mean.
saying.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus. That's a yearly thing. Like those things.
Yes, that's true.
I only pay yearly for the shit I have
That
to
shit's
pay
coming up.
yearly
Shit,
for.
that's right.
It sucks. That's I
It
don't like
does.
it. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
It's hard to budget that shit. For,
I don't
you know
like
what
it.
I mean?
Yes.
But when it comes to when I have a choice between monthly and yearly,
Yeah.
I pay 10% more or whatever it is, so
Yes.
like get a 10% discount on yearly. No, I pay monthly
Yes.
because at one point I'm so fickle. That's the word I was looking for. I'm so fickle.
There you go.
I'm going to drop you at some point because I haven't been into it the last few months. I'm just going to cancel, blah, blah, blah. And then I might come back to it at some
Come and
point.
go,
I come,
yeah.
I come and go, which would drive breaking points people nuts. Okay. We continue?
Sure.
Individual screens
make sure
for
I'm not
each
a fucking
individual
shill here.
show. I haven't talked about that in the past. That's not including clips. 2 million of your screens, your phones, your devices every single show. And I only know there's over 300,000 of you out there. So please, here's what I
knows
ask you.
that,
As Mug
apparently.
Club finds a new home, don't lose touch with us. Sign up. Just enter in your email there at mugclubforever.com. I'm promising you, you will never receive an email from me, aside from if, when, and where Mug Club's new home is going to exist.
Still ain't got that
With the
email,
exception
Pete.
that some of you may receive an immediate
February.
email just to confirm that you signed up so that it doesn't go to spam. And I ask that you check your spam because due to issues outside of my control,
I do check my
it's
spam.
going to take some time before I figure out exactly where Mug Club lands. So all I ask really right now is that if you want Mug Club to continue, enter in your email so we can make that happen.
Here, Kitty.
I knew that my partnership, which for a long time was obviously very happy with, lots of great people there. My partnership with the Blaze would be ending for a long time. They know that, they've known that, and it's always weighed really heavy on my heart for the people who sign up and don't get your full year's worth of content.
Yeah, we're done there because he goes off. So
Yeah.
obviously, though, the point I was trying to make though is that he is not
Right.
in these videos when he's getting people to sign up for mugclubforever.com, insisting that they have to be Mug Club subscribers. He's making weird innuendos to like, if you're Mug Club's person, you're going to sign up. But there's also people like me that are going to sign up and not be Mug Club subscribers.
Yeah.
And then he's using that number to insist that he is worth that much later on, that he's going to have this dollar value. He's going to have this get rid of the dollars at this point. He's going to have that power of followership behind him wherever he goes. But he doesn't really know that.
Yeah.
Or he might, by some unpublicly available knowledge, know that he has over at least 300,000. In which case, again, I just fall back on the thing like, well, sorry, bud, if you're going to be in this fight and you have to be independent because nobody else can afford you, then you got to do what you got to do, or you're going to bow out and be gone. Done.
Yeah.
Okay. So just get your shit together. Hire a bunch of people that you need to hire to run a fucking company for you and start a goddamn company. If you need more shows, hire more fucking shows. Guess what? The internet's a big place. Take a look. There's lots of creators out there that could use a fucking gig. I happen to know a couple of them that meet every 2 weeks, that could use a contract, and I'd be willing to sign for $50 million or less.
Nothing to stop him from making more content.
No. So that's my big sticky point about the entire IRL thing is his insistence on the numbers. And as far as publicly available knowledge in the videos that he has put out, he is misrepresenting his numbers right now, or he is not being transparent about how he knows what his numbers are.
Yeah.
And I think that's proofs in the pudding.
Email list is
Receipts,
irrelevant,
bitches.
Joseph says. And I think,
Amen.
I think
Proof's
that's-
in the pudding.
Yeah, that might be true.
And again, look, less than 1 million views on YouTube. Less than 1 million views on YouTube. We got 656 views on that. We've got 507,000 videos on the first video we watched. You're going to tell me that over 2/3 of those views are from paying subscribers on Mug Club?
Right.
That seems like a stretch to me.
But if the people on Mug Club are accessing through mugclub.com,
There's no mugclub.com. You want me to go to mugclub.com?
but at the time,
This is
I'm
mugclub.com.
saying-
Oh, wait,
At
no.
the time, I'm saying
When those came out,
yes.
then they might have been accessing the gateway
Right.
through the
Then it
Blaze. They
could
might
be
have some
800,000.
They could have some ISP shit and whatever. And also, if this is indeed the case, Blaze is going to have a seriously fucking hard year. Because
Yes.
when Crowder leaves, I don't know how you float that show. If he's bringing in, what was Mug Club? We'll just say $10 a month plus tax.
It's $100 a year.
$100 a year. So I know
Like
I have an
$8 a
aversion
month.
to doing
It's
fucking.
like $8 a month.
It's okay. So we'll say $8 a month times 12 months. Oh no. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
What are you trying to figure out?
We're gonna see how much fucking money he's like bringing into the deal, right?
We'll just do 100 times 300,000, which would be what, $30 million a year.
Yeah.
So
Easy.
that's
So he's bringing in $30 million a year,
a year.
to the Blaze.
Bare minimum, he says.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Now you're telling me that $30 million to the Blaze just being gone overnight
Right.
is not going to tank that company?
It's definitely going to be a big hit.
So I think a lot of the truth being in, the what do they call that? Truth's in the pudding, or
The proof is in the
the
pudding.
proof is in the pudding. I wish I was a foreigner so I can have some kind of excuse to my bullshit
Nope,
things, but
you're from here.
no, you're from here. So I guess, we can also look at the Blaze in the future to see how it impacted them and glean a little bit off top.
How much money they're not making anymore.
Yeah. Because there'll be something about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what we're not going to do today, though? Because
What?
that was my point on Crowder, so we're done with Crowder. We can move on.
Yeah.
We'll finish out the fucking thing here. So we're not going to talk about Paul Pelosi because that's going to be too much.
It's gonna be too much, huh? All right.
It's just a lot.
No,
it's
that's
a
fine.
long
That's
time.
fine.
You got babies to go home to or whatever. You're the dad in this house, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
Alec
So
Baldwin.
real quick,
This guy.
this fucking guy here. How's that second joint treating you there, big shooter?
Good.
Good. All right, Alec Baldwin.
What, you want me to fucking finish it all right now?
No. No, you just seemed like I'm in a real comfy spot right
Well,
now,
I've also
man.
had like 4.5 beers.
Well, get your shit together.
Good Christ. Drink beer like twice a week. Not a 4 a day or like you, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
I just give you shit, So let's talk about Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin coming up on manslaughter charges, yeah?
Fucking good.
Peace. This is like my free article for the year from New York Times.
Yeah, you point a gun at somebody and you pull the trigger. You
Go to
should
jail.
If they die, yeah.
You just said, nope, it's a year subscription. They don't even know I'm gone yet.
Yeah.
That's to the Blaze. Yeah, that's true. At one point, they're just fucked.
Yeah.
They're probably freaking out too right now, going, how many fucking people are we going to lose? How many fucking people are we going to lose?
Yes.
All right, so Alec Baldwin, do you think he's going to go to jail? Coming up manslaughter charges. We've talked about the story multiple times.
Do I think he's going to go to jail?
I mean, most people go to jail for manslaughter, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're found guilty. Mm-hmm. God damn it, I hope he does. God damn, I hope he does.
I hope he
Because he
does, too.
should. He
don't
killed
make
a woman.
And he don't make any good movies anymore, so who gives a shit?
He killed a woman, and at the very, very least, he was negligent. I don't care. I don't care if somebody else told you the gun was clear.
He had live rounds in his gun belt.
Yeah. I don't care if someone else told you that the gun was clear. I don't care. You should open it up to ensure there are not bullets in it before you point the gun at somebody and you pull the trigger, which you shouldn't fucking do in the first place.
That's right.
So I have a 4-year-old son who I gave a wooden gun to that I made out of laser cut wood and fucking toothpicks that I painted and glued together for him.
Jesus.
It was a gift that I got for
That's
Christmas.
dope.
It's very cool. It's a gift that I got for Christmas that I thought was really dumb at first. And then I started to put it together, and I was like, okay, this is actually really rad. And then after I put it together and I didn't really pay that much attention, I kind of fucked around with it and fucked it up. I looked it up, and apparently, because it comes with a magazine and like bullets and like all these working
Holy
parts.
shit.
Okay, so it also has like
What?
rubber bands and stuff in it. Yeah, I'll send you the thing. And
That
we
sounds
can look at the
legit.
video because it also shoots.
I want one.
It shoots these wooden bullets out. And I didn't know that until I looked it up after I put it together and fucked it up. And I
Wow.
was
You
like,
fucked it up?
yeah, I just didn't do as good of a job as I should have. And I decided that I needed to buy another one to do a better job.
Word.
And so I gave this one to my son because it's, it's just a cool thing at this point. So,
Oh, no. Okay. Go ahead. You keep looking that up.
yes.
So Deborah says Glenn doesn't worry. And I'm fairly sure Glenn Beck does not own the Blaze anymore. I'm pretty sure he sold to CRTV. Let me look at that. The Blaze. I can type owner. The company leadership consists of CEO Taylor Codison and President Gaston Money. It is based in Ivory, Texas, and
No
the
more
students and
Glenbeck, huh?
offices as well as DC. Owner of Blaze LLC. Launched December 2018. Yeah, Glenn and Mark Levin are learning NCR TV to create a conservative. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, Glenn Beck and Mark Levin are teaming up by merging the Blaze and CRTV to create a conservative media entity.
Mark Levin is the
Dubbed The
guy
Blaze.
that wrote that
Yeah.
book that I just pulled out of the book club.
That's right. That's right. He wrote Unfree Press or something
the
like that.
Unfreedom of the Press.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled that out of the book club.
Yep.
Also, Deborah, because I know you're into the book club, obviously we did the preview for this year's book club, and then I will take a picture and post that on Monday of the stack. But if you want like a full video breakdown preview, you can check that video out on our YouTube. It's still there.
Indeed.
So that will preview, except for this Mark Levin book. I pulled that one out. We're going to do a double 2 for a Stephen King. It's going to be sweet.
I'm excited about that.
some
Yeah,
short
that
ones,
sounds awesome.
Some novellas. It's going to be
Yeah.
great. It's a good lineup.
And then Joseph said Sydney Watson was my wife's favorite, but she is with the Quartering now, so I don't know. I just don't know where I'm going
Who
now.
even knows?
The Quartering can be
I've never watched that show
interesting.
before.
And you probably shouldn't.
No.
It's not really your style.
Not a Donovan show.
No, I don't think so, man. Your time is precious, and you should probably just stick to some old YMH reruns. You don't need to be doing that. I, for one, am excited because I love me some Sydney Watson.
Yeah.
Always have. That's the only reason I started to watch her in that fucking Elijah whatever show. You Are Here,
Yeah.
because I liked Sydney Watson. But now, yeah, she does a show now. They officially just launched a new show, which they used to do a live stream together, her and the Quartering, every Thursday. But now they've dubbed it a new show, and it's got its own YouTube channel and all that
Okay.
good shit. But no, I get that, man. It's Jeremy from the Quartering is not everybody's cup of tea. He's like Tim, but a little bit more so. A little bit more of a fence sitter. A little bit more into like the social drama. So anyways, yeah, we did Alec Baldwin. We learned about the Blaze. How you doing on time?
Good.
Okay, we'll do this one I wanted to bring
I'm
up
always
earlier.
I'm here till after bedtime now since the move. So
Oh, good. So
that's
then I'll
always
just
the-
fucking lock you up
I'm
here.
gonna say I'm gonna yeah. I mean, if we're here when the call comes, I'm gonna step away. But
Okay. So let's hit this one. I wanted to hit this earlier in National Stories, but it is a surprisingly based ass take from now Speaker McCarthy in regards to him not putting Adam Schiff and Fartgate Eric Swalwell. It's like Burpgate, but more so.
hashtag farter hater.
And can we confirm that you indeed did create Farter Hater?
Hashtag
Farter
farter
Hater?
hater. I think probably. I haven't used it on social media yet, but with you, yes.
Hashtag
Hashtag
where the bodies at,
farter-
cars.
Yeah.
Where the bodies at,
Oh
Garth.
yeah, we got to order them shirts tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did.
Yeah, I didn't bring any cash, but I'll give you. You know I'm good for it.
Oh, yeah. Come on now. All right. So, did you watch this video?
Yes.
Okay.
Intel committee. Is Santos on the Intel committee? Am I allowing Schiff to be on other committees? Go right ahead.
Very quiet.
The reporter, yeah, she's
Yeah.
giving him shit.
She's giving us shit for now not allowing Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell to be on the Intel committee.
Yeah.
Because something he spoke out against Nancy Pelosi about before he was speaker about not letting certain people on committees. And so she tries to give him shit back.
Yes.
And then
Well, let me be very. He's gotten elected by his district, so.
quit interrupting
Okay,
the Speaker of the House,
let me be
bitch.
very-
Jeremy needed Sydney. I like his content for the most part, but I thought he sounded like he was buffering all the time. It was him not talking all the time. This is true. He is kind of a man of the silence on the stream, but also some of that could be buffering because he lives out in bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin, and he gets his internet from Starlink.
Really?
Yes, he does.
Good for him.
He does indeed.
Very clear and respectful to you. You ask me a question. When I answer it, it's the answer to your question.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get to determine whether I answer your question or not.
Who
okay?
is this guy?
In all respect.
I like it.
Thank you. No. Let's
No,
answer
no.
her question.
I love he like no.
Let's
Listen to
answer
me
her
now.
question.
You just raised a question. I'm going to be very clear with you.
Also wonder what
the
wristband
Intel
he's wearing.
Committee is different. You know why? Because what happens in the Intel Committee, you don't know. What happens in the Intel Committee, although the secrets are going on in the world, other members of Congress don't know. What did Adam Schiff do as the chairman of the Intel Committee? What Adam Schiff did, use his power as a chairman and lie to the American public. Even the Inspector General said it. When Devin Nunes put out a memo, he said it was false. When we had a laptop, he used it before an election to be politics and say that it was false and said it was the Russians. When he knew different, when he knew the intel, if you talk to John Radcliffe, DNI,
Right.
he came out ahead of time and says there's no intel to prove that, and he used his position as chairman, knowing he has information the rest of America does not, and lied to the American public. When a whistleblower came forward,
Fact check fucking true, bud. The entire Russiagate hoax, he'd come out, he's like, I got fucking information on Trump.
entire time.
And then he had nothing. Because he fucking used his position in the Intel Committee to fucking lie to everybody.
he said he did not know the individual, even though his staff had met with him and set it up. So no, he does not have a right to sit on that. But I will
Amen.
not be like Democrats and play politics with these, where they removed Republicans from committees and all committees. So yes, he can serve on a committee, but he will not serve on Intel because it goes to the national security of America. And I will always put them first, all right? And if you want to talk about Swalwell, let's talk about Swalwell.
Think.
Because you have not had the briefing that I had. I had the briefing.
You have not had the briefing I've had, okay?
Bang.
You don't understand what I'm going through, Miss
Yeah.
Lady over there in the fucking
And
press.
Nancy Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI. The FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with a Chinese spy until he served
By a problem, he means he was actively fucking her.
that. So it wasn't just us who were concerned about it. The FBI was concerned about putting a member of Congress
Hashtag
on
not
the
family
Intel
friendly.
Committee that has the rights to see things that others don't because of his knowledge and relationship with a Chinese spy.
Word.
They brought it to the works of the leaders. I've got that briefing. So I do not believe he should sit on that committee. And I believe there's 200 other Democrats that can serve on that committee. So this has nothing to do with Santos.
Based McCarthy.
Yeah.
So, and one of the important parts about what he just said there is they brought that information to the leadership and they chose to keep him on the Intelligence Committee. Nancy Pelosi and Democratic leadership was like, nah, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's fine. It's not a big deal. So that's what do you think of Base McCarthy there? After 15 votes, apparently he's standing a little bit of ground right
I'd
there.
love to see
you know?
more of it, but I'm hesitant.
I'm hesitant,
to
but
believe that we will.
We're off to a good start, baby.
Yeah.
Just when my family walks in, thinks, I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm sorry. You should know what you're getting into. You've been around long enough. Oh, okay. Where was I? No. We're going on 7 hours here, so
Yeah.
we're gonna
So
hit
I'm definitely
one.
gonna get this call soon. So
Yeah, we're gonna hit this one little clip right here, real quick, to just
is
make
this a
sure.
cobalt mine?
This is a cobalt mine.
Get the fuck out of here.
This is a cobalt mine recent released. This is where your cobalt comes from in your electric
Where
vehicle
is
batteries. This is over in the Congo.
Oh my god.
This is just one of many. This is one of many. This is what it looks like. This is what is powering Teslas. This is what's powering your fucking Chevy Leaf.
Most of the ones I've seen are like a lot of water. There's a lot of water usually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
my
always the
God.
case.
And those reddish stones, that's the cobalt.
It's down below. It's down deep. Everybody that's standing there right now is hitting things with hammers, getting very toxic cobalt into their lungs, which will kill them, I will add.
Holy
All these people are
shit.
not going to probably live past 50. So, yeah, Joseph Gary said, seen it on Rogan. Been there, done that, bitch. Yes. This is where I learned it, to be honest, when he had that guy that he just wrote a book. I forget his name, but he went around to all the major companies, the mining companies and stuff that mine cobalt over in the Congo primarily. And they all look like that.
Oh my god.
And they all have certifications about being fucking green energy and blah, blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah.
But
that's
the-
what it looks like. That's the reality behind this shit. Don't fucking kid
what a
yourself.
Beautiful way to end our show. Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh,
We
that's
have-
wild.
We have one
This
last
is,
one.
This is the whale.
This is the whale.
Okay,
From my
let's see
favorite
it.
Twitter follow, Weird and Terrifying.
Oh, great.
So we are at a dock. There's
Oh,
land
God.
right there.
All
Land
right.
is right there. How deep is this dock?
Jesus
Is the name of this
Christ.
video. And we,
How deep is this dock?
yes. Okay, there's boats right there. Okay, cool.
Boats.
How deep is this dock?
Okay, there's
When a
bubbles.
giant fucking whale comes up and eats some fish. Right there.
Oh my God. What the fuck? So it's a completely floating dock. Floating dock.
Yeah.
There's nothing underneath it.
The land is right
Wow.
there, bro. The land, you could see it in the picture with the whale.
So it's just the
The land,
deepest.
right there. That's
like a s-
that's the land.
So it's just a sea mountain then, because
Yeah,
that's wild.
that's a big
a
ass
proper
whale,
whale.
bro. I could eat one of those boats.
Yeah, look at its mouth, dude. That's wild.
that's wild. So
It's gullet.
that's
That's insane.
cool. So there's our show, everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
It's been fantastic.
That was a great episode.
It was.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Episode 141 of Salt of the Streets. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, share those with everybody you know. The individual parts, there are clips that are going to come out. We got some more clips from last week. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah,
That's why I drive a diesel.
Yeah,
Joseph says.
I love it.
Amen, buddy.
Again, thank you again for everybody. YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, Salt of the Streets. Go there, subscribe, help us make more better content just like this. You can find everything at saltofthestreets.com, including our own personal social media. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at Alpaca what?
Nothing.
Alpaca _ daughter on Instagram. Calling it a big bird off on both those things. I don't know what this guy wants from me. He's laughing. He's
Thanks,
giggling.
everybody. Thank
We'll
you
see
guys so much
later.
for hanging
we
out.
love you. Have a fantastic
Been
week.
great.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Welcome to the Salt of the Streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.